guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, September 4th, in the depths of the offseason. But yet again, we have scrounged together enough Celtics content to fill a show. It is late. It's 11 p.m. as we're recording this. Busy days.
Literally terrible.
But busy days. You know, we got stuff going on this summer, but we are
I haven't even
committed to
showered.
content.
I haven't showered. I can't.
Like
people better watch this. I swear to God, if I wake up tomorrow and there's 90 views on this when I wake up, I'm gonna be so upset.
It's what I like to call a YP, a you problem, sir. I'm
it's an us problem, buddy.
I'm up this late anyways. I am not complaining. I am fine.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
ready to rumble.
If you wake up and you see 90 views, it's still an us problem.
Oh, I meant the shower. I was like, that's a you. No, but we are here. We've got some Celtic stuff to dive into, and we'll start with Jayson Tatum and Paul Pierce. We talked about it a few weeks ago. They were working out together. Well, they're still working out together. Videos of them in the gym, hanging out. And obviously there's not much to talk about just from the perspective of, oh, yeah, cool, they're working out. But I wanted to ask you, because I think an interesting point of conversation is, if you had to pick any advice or one thing you would want Paul Pierce to pass down to Jayson Tatum, what would it be? And I think that's a genuine thing, because they're working out together and it's cool to see them, hitting them, weights, all this stuff, doing drills, blah, blah, blah. But genuinely, Paul Pierce is one of the best Celtics to ever play in the green and white. He won a title here in 08 as the top option. He spent tons and tons of games and years with the franchise. Jayson Tatum is hoping to be the next Celtics great. He certainly looks like he could be on his way. What do you want Paul Pierce to teach Jayson Tatum?
I really would like, what is really Tatum's biggest flaw at this point? Because my first instinct was to show up in the big moments, but I feel like Tatum for the most part has been pretty good in big games. Besides rolling his ankle against the Heat in Game 7, he's been phenomenal when the Celtics have their backs against the wall. So I don't think that's it. I really would like to see a way for him to put a whole season together. I think that's my biggest gripe. Because I feel like Tatum should have the opportunity to win an MVP. He probably could have already won an MVP if he could just play an entire season consistently. This isn't even a load management thing. It's just don't suck for a month at a time and you'll be fine. Yeah. You'll win an MVP. I think Pierce would be a good guy for that. Other advice I might want him to be giving Tatum is just how to be a leader. Pierce was the captain on this team. He's really the last one that people remember. Rondo was a captain for 6 months or whatever. But Pierce was the captain when they won the title. Even when Garnett and Allen came in, they kind of all followed his lead as well as KG a bit. So I would really like to see that. With Horford starting to fizzle out, with Marcus Smart gone, that's another thing I would say. So play a whole season, consistently play well, and become more of a leader in the locker room. And I think we're getting there with Tatum. But that's my initial take.
Yeah, I was going to go with the leadership thing, especially now that Marcus Smart's gone. You really need Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown to step up into that leadership role. As much as Al Horford's going to be there to help lead from the bench, as much as Malcolm Brogdon and these other veterans on the team are going to be there, even if Blake comes back, you think that's funny, but he's probably going to be a locker room voice on this team. It is time for Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown to be the quote unquote captains of this team. And as much as, they've been the best players for the past few years, Marcus Smart's been the vocal leader. There's no way around that. He's been the veteran in the locker room. He's been the guy that people look to for all this stuff, and he's gone. And again, Horford's there, but you need Tatum and Brown to assume that role. So I think that would be the biggest thing that I would be hoping for Paul Pierce to pass down, because he was the leader of the Celtics for 2 decades nearly. He was the guy, and that's really what I'd like to see. As far as the MVP thing, I think that's important too. I was just trying to look quickly because I didn't look at it beforehand. What was the closest Pierce got to winning MVP? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think he got 5th place one year.
I was looking to find it, and the best season I saw was 05-06, but the Celtics weren't particularly good that year, and so he wasn't even on the ballot. And then the year they won the title, he was 8th, 9th, so he wasn't really close either. And
I think there was a fifth place year.
Yeah,
but
so I mean,
there's really nowhere to really look for that.
I've been looking on Basketball Reference. They have all the voting, but I have to go year by year. I can't just look player by player.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
I mean, from that metric, Tatum's gotten closer than Pierce did because he get fourth this past season behind
Yeah.
the big men and Giannis. And like you said, I mean, all it's going to take for Jayson Tatum not to disappear for a month, and he probably would
Yeah.
win an MVP.
I mean, literally, 4th place this year. He sucks so bad that I had a running joke that people shouldn't buy his shoes.
It was bad.
And then one guy got real mad at me on Twitter.
It wasn't great for a minute there. But yeah, no, I mean, it's always good to see the older generation or the past generations working out with the current players. I know that's something you look for a lot. So good for Pierce and Tatum. All right, next thing. This was something we were considering doing last show that we're going to do now because it's the off season and we're very here. So last episode we drafted the Celtics, right? And we've been doing a lot of drafts this summer. I enjoy them. I think they're fun. I know I personally like them, and hopefully you guys don't mind them either. We drafted the Celtics roster and we went back and forth. We drafted teams around Jayson Tatum. I thought it'd be fun if we didn't necessarily draft teams around Tatum. We built teams, right? So the format I came up with here is one of us gets Jayson, one of us gets Jaylen, and off rip, you'll be like, okay, well, the team with Jayson will be better. The stipulation is the team with Jayson, you can pick a current all-star. We're doing this with current players. You can pick an all-star.
Okay.
If you get Jaylen, you get an MVP because Jayson Tatum's an MVP caliber player. Jaylen Brown's an all-star. So you just get to pair them with one of the opposite ones. And then you pick 3 role players, and we're just going to draft teams. Welcome to September, Sam. I'm trying to get creative here. I'm trying to put together some content. So
no, I wanted to shit on this, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. All right. I'll ask you first. I'll let you choose. Do you want Tatum and an all-star, or do you want Jaylen and a superstar or an MVP?
Give me give me Jaylen. I'll take Jaylen.
Okay.
I took Tatum last time.
That's fine. All right. So since it doesn't interfere, we'll go all-star to MVP. I haven't thought too much about it. I've thought about it a little bit. I feel like Tatum is low-key the best. He was the best all-star you could choose without being a Hall of Famer in the last draft. You know, remember when we did like, okay, you can't pick up a current Hall of Famer. And so it's tougher to pick a non-MVP caliber all-star right now. I think the closest I can get, do you put Devin Booker in the MVP caliber? Would I be banned from picking Devin Booker? Okay, so I'll pick Devin Booker.
Go ahead.
To put next to Tatum. I feel like that's the best I can get without reaching into the MVP pool of players for my my second star. So I'll put Devin Booker with him. I had an name in my head if I got Jaylen. Okay, yeah.
I was also like kind of thinking like, what if I pick Steph Curry?
That's who I was gonna go with.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'll take Steph Curry.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because I think you really need a real scorer on this team. I don't know. Not to say Jokic isn't that, but I feel like Jaylen would work better with a guy that is cutting off the ball and making things easier for his teammates, where Jokic is more of a heliocentric pass guy. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. I was gonna go Curry too. I figured you get the playmaking, you get the shooting, you get the guy who's gonna have
somebody
the ball
to handle the ball
most of the time.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's really what it was.
All right. I'll let you lead off here since you took Jaylen and I got Tatum. You can pick the first role player, whatever you want to go to fill out the rest of your lineup.
Okay, so I have point guard. I have Jaylen, who I can play at the 2 or 3.
Yeah. So this is role player just means not an all-star or not an all-star caliber. Like don't pick Jalen Brunson. You know what I'm saying? Because he's an all-star caliber. So like actual role players.
Sure.
That's the idea.
Okay.
That's where it gets interesting.
Think about this.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. I thought it'd be fun. I mean, I guess if you want to, sure. Why not?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick 1B.
Sure. All right, you can have 1B. Oh, man, this is tough. It's tough to ride the line of role player versus star. So I've got Tatum and Booker. I kind of want a center. I'm gonna go Miles Turner. Get a guy.
Well, that's a good pick. That's better than Wemby.
I'll get a guy who can defend, guy who can make some shots. It's close. We'll see how Wemby does his first year.
He was really good last year, especially next.
He was really good. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll go Turner.
More. Oh, you go ahead again because
we're doing
we can do the role players as Snake.
Sure. Okay. Man, I want to get point guard. No, I want a point guard to put next to them. I want somebody who can play make. My biased point of view wants to go Derek White or Marcus Smart, but I feel like I want someone who like play makes a little bit more than those guys.
Should we say no Celtics?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
We
can do no Celtics. And I'll do no Marcus Smart too, because he's effectively a Celtic. Do I go? Would it be crazy of me to pick Josh Giddey?
No, that's a good pick.
I think I'm gonna pick Josh Giddey. It's not as much of a defensive presence as I want, but Josh Giddey's a damn good playmaker. I'll go Josh Giddey. Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
I'm picking OG.
Yeah, that I was considering OG, but I already had Tatum, so I'm like, I won't go him. That's a good pick. OG's really
I have
good.
another pick.
Yeah, you
Okay,
do.
so I have center, 2 4.
Mhm.
We'll go another bigger forward for this pick.
Yeah.
I haven't thought of who it is yet, but I will pick them.
Okay, I think I have my last pick. I'm hoping you don't
You
snipe
have
him.
your last pick.
I'm hoping you don't steal him.
This is tough. I'm trying to flip through all in my head and pick the right
Yeah.
guy.
I know a really good play. Actually, I don't know if he'd fit as well in your team, but I know who I want. It's tough. Picking the role players is tough because you have to think through.
Okay.
Wemby. You have Wemby. Right now, you have Steph Curry, Jaylen Brown, OG Anunoby, Victor Wembanyama with your 4 pieces. So you could pick a shooting guard or you could pick a power forward here. That's kind of where I'm at too.
I want to go power forward. I think we need a
Yeah.
little more size. Me and the boys.
Yeah.
How
There's
how
some
am I
really
struggling this bad?
I can give you some options. I'm not going to give you the guy I'm thinking of if you want me to throw out some names, but you could go like if you want to go Josh Hart, you could play him up. That's a good one. Kyle Kuzma is not going to give you as much defense, but he can score the ball. Bruce Brown, if you want to go a little bit of everything. He's shorter, but
Give me Aaron Gordon.
I'm so no.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said Bruce
good.
Brown. You probably thought Bruce Brown Nuggets than Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Sorry it took so long.
That's fine. Well, I would be less mad if you didn't steal the guy that I was gonna pick for my team. Oh, that's tragic. Shit, man. Oh, that just ruined my whole fucking thought process.
It's defense too.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna pick him, you fucking asshole. I could go Jaden McDaniels. Does he shoot well from 3? Yeah, I'll go Jaden McDaniels. He was really good for Minnesota last year. I'll pick him. All right, so that means my team ended up with what am I point guard? Josh Giddey, Devin Booker, Jayson Tatum, Jaden McDaniels, Miles Turner, and you ended up with Steph Curry, Jaylen Brown, OG Anunoby, Aaron Gordon, Victor Wembanyama.
Sure
2 good
did.
teams.
Yeah.
Let us know. Let us know who you
who's
think.
better.
Maybe we write this up for
It's
another
actually pretty
Celtics blog
fun.
article. Yeah. Okay. You're about to crap on me for my idea, and I'm glad you came.
No, I wasn't gonna like directly crap on it. I was just like, what if I just went through and I picked Tatum as my MVP and I just picked the rest of the Celtics?
You're right. That wouldn't even work because only one of us could have Tatum and one of us could have. Oh, you mean Tatum and then the rest of the team? I mean, that'd probably stand up pretty well to. Well, you couldn't pick Porzingis because he's all-star level, or he'd probably qualify for that.
Go last year's team.
Sure. Hey, I think we had
I'd
good
just
teams.
make Ime
Anyways.
the coach because that would have fixed everything.
You're terrible. All right.
Comments just
The
light
worst.
on fire. Everyone's like, damn right.
Just the worst. All right. Next thing we have Gilbert Arenas talking about former Celtic Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan. I just thought this was interesting. I think this is a little bit old, but we never talked about it, and so I wanted to bring it up. Basically, he's saying, what I'm saying, this is Gilbert Arenas' quote from his podcast. What I'm saying is if you switch them, you've got one who is coming on a team that is already dominant, and he's just a fill-in piece versus KG coming on a bad team and having to work himself up and build that. Basically, his argument is like KG could have been Tim Duncan if they were switched positions. I think KG does get I think he gets respected enough in these conversations. Like he's pretty normally in the top 25 players of all times, top whatever it is. I just think I think calling Tim Duncan a fill-in piece is kind of nuts. Like that's just a little bit too disrespectful for my liking. I appreciate Gilbert Arenas saying like, okay, these guys are closer to the same level than people realize, but saying like a big part of his argument was Tim Duncan was only good because he joined a Spurs team that already had David Robinson, these people. And I'm not going to sit here and say that didn't help Tim Duncan, but saying he wouldn't have been good without that pre-built infrastructure around him in San Antonio is just a bit disrespectful to Tim Duncan. Again, appreciate the KG love. Too far, I think, to say Tim Duncan wouldn't have been good without the Spurs.
No, I mean, I know it's September. You have to like talk about stuff like this. But to me, these like player conversations are so useless. Like, yeah, dude, you put Gilbert Arenas on, let's just say, the modern day Warriors, he probably could be very productive too. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, This is the career they had. These are the guys they played with. This is the situation they came into. And this is what happened. There's no flip-flop. If you want to do that, load up your 2K and do it. That's the most fun way to do it because you can actually like have some kind of sim results. If you just want to like spitball around and be like, this guy's better than that guy, 1, you're not going to get anywhere. 2, you're going to come off as disrespecting one of the guys. But 3, you're going to get those clicks. So just another case of everybody having a microphone.
Everyone,
as far as KG versus Tim Duncan goes, it's really tough because there is some like argument for it, as you see here. But at the same time, like Duncan's teams were widely successful. Did he ever miss the playoffs? I don't really know off the top of my head.
Good question. I can look for you real quick.
He won at least 1 MVP. Might have won 2, won 5 titles. Like
2 MVPs.
He has one of the best careers ever.
Yeah.
How many?
2 MVPs. Yeah.
Yep.
He missed the playoffs in 2000, it looks like. And then after that, no. He missed the playoffs 1 time in his career. So that's pretty good.
Was that an injury or? Because they
1999, 2000.
Because they had just won a title.
The Spurs team did make the playoffs. Tim Duncan didn't play in the playoffs, obviously. He probably did get hurt, yeah. And they lost in the first round, probably because Tim Duncan wasn't.
Yeah. So essentially, 1, he was a great driving force behind San Antonio's success throughout his whole career. 2, the team was good enough that when he went down, they still made the playoffs in the whole 9. But to have a run of sustained success like that as a player is so respectable. It's not like they were just sneaking into the playoffs every year. They were also winning rounds, winning 5 championships along the way. He played against great players at the beginning and at the end of his career. He was playing against those Shaq and Kobe Lakers in the Western Conference to try and get to the finals early in the 2000s. Then he was taking on the LeBron-led Heat, 2013, 2014. KD Thunder, Kobe again, I guess, if you really want to be like, oh my God, the tenure. But seriously, it wasn't easy for them.
No.
So you have to respect it. You have no choice. Even though Tim Duncan is not like a guy you're looking up a mixtape for, doesn't mean he wasn't effective and he wasn't nasty.
He's probably one of the most underrated players in NBA history because he didn't
probably should have been a Celtic.
Probably should have been a Celtic. And for what it's worth, like you look at these all-time lists, like I just pulled up the Athletics for reference. Ugh. Tim Duncan's 9 and KG's 17. It's not like they're ridiculously fall apart on most of these lists. And for Kevin Garnett's respect, he took a Timberwolves team to the Western Conference Finals in 2004. That second best player, MVP season. All due respect to the current Celtics coach, Sam Cassell was the second leading scorer on that team. So, like, taking them to the Western Conference Finals, give KG a ton of credit for that run.
Does KG deserve more LeBron talk? Where, oh my God, he took this bag of corpses so far.
Probably. I mean, he probably had a little bit better than LeBron did with Sam Cassell. He also had the old Latrell Sprewell. I don't know. Maybe he does, but in the playoffs that year,
the league was so dilated that all the teams were kind of like that. Like they were top heavy.
In the playoffs,
which is kind of fun.
Yeah, 18 games, playoffs, 24 points, 14.6 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 1.3 steals, 2.3 blocks. Like prime KG was a problem, as they say. But it's just there's nothing you can like you said. There's no point in saying, "Oh, what if this?" It just didn't happen. So it's off season talk. It is what it is.
Load up your 2K, have fun, do all the what ifs on 2K. or if you really want to do it, which is something we should consider really like doing. Is like go in depth and be like, this could have happened, or like really explain it. Don't just like throw it out there and be like, well, this guy sucks. Like that's essentially what this is. Like he is trying to throw Tim Duncan under the bus, attaching KG to it gets our attention because I literally have a KG hat on right now, and it's just kind of like nonsense. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's overdone. Like
I agree.
I don't know. I don't care. Stop giving everybody a microphone is my response. Oh my God, I didn't see all of these added bullets to this.
Yeah, these are just all the quotes. It just wasn't worth me reading.
Okay, I didn't see them. I'm sorry.
These are all Gilbert Arenas quotes.
But it's on page 2.
Yeah, it's fine. Speaking of Tim Duncan, though, we have our daily email check-in, and we are checking in on the should have had Tim Duncan Celtics, actually. So it's funny you mentioned that. RJ's
Pull it up.
little tidbit for us today.
The
Shout out
history
RJ
teacher.
Johnson. Thank you very much. Titled email 1970 or 1997 798. Focus on ... Not Tim Duncan. We are in the Rick Pitino years, the first year of Rick Pitino guiding the Celtics. Deep sigh. Going into the 97 draft lottery, the Celtics had the best chance to get Tim Duncan, not only because their own record was abysmal. ML Carr had pulled off a nice trade before turning Eric Montross in the 96 first-round pick swap into Antoine Walker. And what would be today's featured draft player, Ron Mercer, 6th overall. Mercer was a 6'7" wing. Back then, he was a shooting guard forward who was good in the mid-range but never developed a three-pointer. Coming into the draft, Mercer was seen as a top 3 talent. Based on the upside he showed in his second year at Kentucky, people thought he was an excellent consolation prize. Alongside Chauncey Billups for the Celtics for the first 5 years of his career, he averaged between 15 and 19 points. But apart from his rookie season where he played 80 games, Mercer only exceeded 60 games 3 other times in his 8-year career due to a knee injury. He played for 7 different teams during that period and was involved in 4 trades. Either his skill set or his contract were popular. Why is RJ teaching us about Ron Mercer today? Similar to Sam forgetting that Jordan Walsh and Sam Hauser are on the current Celtics, lots of people overlook Mercer, focusing more on Pitino being King Rat. Shout out RJ. The Celtics losing out on Tim Duncan and then trading Billups away in the middle of his rookie season. Before Mercer dinged up his knee, he was the reason Pitino was upset at not getting Dirk Nowitzki in the 98 draft and had to quote-unquote settle for Paul Pierce in number 10. Ironically, Pierce being on the roster made it easy for the Celtics to move on from Mercer and his knee injury. One wonders what a late 90s squad of Antoine Walker, a healthy Ron Mercer, and Dirk would have looked like. I'm sure the Rick Tater did. Similar players to Ron Mercer, Della Vedova, Eddie House, Kent Bazemore. Trade trivia. Well, he gave us the answer here, but I don't know if Sam can see it, so I'll give Sam the trivia once
I'm here.
Once his computer turns on. Don't look at the screen, Sam. In February 2000, Mercer was traded with Billups to what team? I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but if you can't, tell me the answer. Where were they traded from the Celtics?
In 2000, so this is after Billups was traded away from the Celtics. So they got traded together again.
Yeah, apparently.
But not. I'm just trying to think of where Chauncey went. It's not Minnesota, is it?
It is not.
Or is it Denver?
This, but it is not. It's Orlando. Is the
Orlando?
Yeah, which I didn't know.
Did Chauncey Billups ever play for Orlando?
He did not. So there must have been something going on there where something was weird. I want to find the trade now, though, because that is odd, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's see. Well, I don't even know. Did Mercer get traded to Toronto with Billups? Because that's where Billups got traded to initially.
This is in 2000 it was. So I'm trying to find where they were traded. Okay. Found the trade. February 1st, 2000. The Magic traded Tariq Abdul-Wahad, Chris Gatling, and a future first to the Nuggets for Chauncey Billups, Ron Mercer, and Johnny Taylor.
Okay.
I don't know what happened past that because they never played for Orlando, it seems like. But yeah, that trade did in fact happen, which is very odd. But anyways, Rick Pitino trivia. Let's see. Prior to the 97 draft, Pitino, Mercer's college coach at Kentucky, talked him down. Many scouts had him a top 3 prospect so as to draft him at 6. Apparently it worked. So Rick Pitino basically said, no, guys, this guy sucks. Don't worry about it. Just to take him at pick 6, which, whatever. Good for Rick Pitino. Whatever he wants to do. What a guy. Anyways, right. I assume you knew about Ron Mercer, Sam, correct?
I was aware of him. I didn't know that much. I'm actually kind of grateful for that email. We had a Rick Fox one in there, too. You didn't read it.
Oh, is there another email that I missed?
Yes. You missed it.
Oh, there we go. Is this?
I was complaining that we didn't know about Rick Fox because I was
want to know why
his Celtics career.
It's probably because you opened it on your computer, so it didn't show up as not read on my computer. So I didn't know that we had already read it. But anyways, let's jump into Rick Fox. Thank you, RJ, again. We're doing some more learning from RJ's email check-ins. Thank you for the off-season content. Again, very grateful. Sam can rest easy. I've got him covered. Before this guy won 3-year wings with the Lakers and married Vanessa Williams, he was co-captain of the Celtics in 96-97. Yep, today's dark age of Celtics is Rick Fox. Again, 96-97 spotlight on the prettiest Celtic ever. Pretty nice covers a lot of Fox's career. He was a pretty nice teammate. He was a pretty nice role player. He was from Toronto, so I'm guessing he was a pretty nice guy too. He was likely the right person to be team captain in the last year of ML Carr's coaching experience, which resulted in the Celtics' worst winning percentage ever at 18.3%. As they took a year-long dive for Tim Duncan, which, again, ultimately did not happen. He was one of the Celtics' 4 principal starters alongside David Wesley, who we learned about recently, Eric Williams, and rookie Antoine Walker. Fox was a 6'7" small forward drafted late in the first round out of North Carolina who didn't have a dominant skill and did just a little bit of everything okay. 96-97 was the best year of Fox's 13-year career. He averaged 15, 5, and 4, and was 5th in the league in steals at 2.2 per game. It was also his final year as the Celtics as he joined the Lakers next season. Why Fox? Besides Sam asking about him. In the clip, Mike Gorman calls him an all-purpose player, and that's a good description for his game. If there are glue guys, Fox was a grout guy. He could fill in the gaps. The Dark Days Celtics has a lot of these who wound up becoming starters because there wasn't anyone better than them on the roster. Fine. Injuries, salary considerations, tanking to get a future Hall of Famer, whatever. But when your filler guy highlights his skills and shows he can help a team out, that's what the time to flip him in a trade. And Fox, like Wesley, left the Celtics for a grand total of bupkis. In return, the Celtics released him in July, 2 months after Patino came on board, and the Celtics traded their GM to the Heat. No, really, they traded their GM to the Heat. I believe this is going to show me they traded ML Carr or something. Who did they trade? Which GM did they trade? Traded Chris Wallace and a 97 second round pick to the Heat for a second round pick. So there you go. Trade trivia. Sam, don't look. Even though he did not play for Boston, Fox was a part of the trade that brought a starter for the 2008 championship team to the Celtics. Which starter do we know?
I have no idea. I mean, I can see it on the sheet, but I don't know.
Rondo is the answer. August 6, 2004, traded by the Lakers with Gary Payton in a 2006 first-round pick. Rondo was later selected to the Celtics for Chucky Atkins, Jermaine Jones, and Chris Mim. There we go. More fun facts. Fox was the first player to wear number 44 after Danny Ainge was traded. Finally, he is a really good-looking guy who has managed to have a pretty nice acting career. Shout out Rick Fox for his acting career. I assume you did know about Rick Fox, seeming as you asked about him on the last
sure did.
podcast.
That's how we got the emails. I asked.
There we go. All right. Well, thank you again to RJ for tuning in or emailing us with an update, filling us in on the dark ages of the Celtics as we were not around to live through those dark ages, which I'm very grateful for, but it means we have a gap of knowledge. All right. The next thing we have is Charles Barkley talked about Kristaps Porzingis, and normally this wouldn't matter, but 1, it's September, so any Celtics content is content we're going to talk about, and 2, this is a trade that has divided a lot of Celtics, fandom, and just the NBA world, I feel like, has been debating about this trade. So Charles Barkley was on the Bill Simmons podcast, and when asked about the Porzingis-Marcus Smart trade, said, I think it's worth the gamble. He doesn't have to be your best player. He doesn't have to be your second best player, both of which are true. But I just thought it was refreshing to see somebody say something good about the trade because it's been pretty much all negative from what I've seen in the media.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to Chuck talk to Bill Simmons when it came out, and Simmons prompted him on this, obviously being a big Celtics guy. And Chuck had some good words. He kind of talked. It's interesting that you bring this up. So Barkley was talking to Bill Simmons about when he was playing and when he was with the Sixers. He ended up getting traded to Phoenix, but beforehand, he really was pushing to go play for Portland. And he went and actually had a meeting with Portland's front office, which is whack when you hear about it today. And you're like, wow, no tampering, whatever, right? The player was like, hey, let's chat. And he was like, listen, you have the best team. You're getting a great regular season record. You're playing really well, but you're losing the playoffs. Why are you losing the playoffs? It's because, according to Barkley, Portland was a really great team and they could outrun teams and run them off the floor. But when the game slowed down the playoffs, they could not play in the half court. So by getting somebody like Chuck who could play out of the low post, it would really help them in tight games where they needed a bucket, they needed something on offense, and they weren't getting it. So apply that to last season's Celtics, a team that sucked closing games and has sucked for years because they struggle in the half court. What do? They bring in somebody that can somewhat play out of the post. Maybe it's going to change their late game execution, how good they are. If I'm able to actually talk during a podcast without freezing, who knows? We can really just dream.
Sam's been struggling, but you guys won't see that. I cut that out. It's funny you mentioned the Barkley to Portland thing, though. A couple of years ago, it was 2018, I found it. Charles Barkley complained that the Blazers never reimbursed him for travel expenses, and so they wrote him a check, and Dame delivered it to Chuck on the Inside the NBA broadcast, which was funny. But yeah, no, I mean, I was on I did Celtics beat with Evan Valenti, friend of the pod, the other night,
Nice.
and we talked about or I ranted about it. Like, it seems like people just aren't as excited for the Porzingis trade because the plantar fasciitis, the injury concern, the fact that Marcus Smart is gone, all of which are like valid reasons to be down on it, but Porzingis is a really good player. He was an all-star caliber guy last year. He averaged 24 and 8, like shot nearly 50-40 from the field. I'm very excited about it. It's nice to see some positivity about the Porzingis move in the media. Thank you, Charles Barkley, is basically all I wanted to say. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but I thought it was something good. All right. Next thing we have is something I saw Sam getting mad at on Twitter, which had to bring it up here. A recent mock draft from Draft Digest had Bronny James picked to 24, and I saw you get mad at this on Twitter because of some Celtics
no
people
need to
brought
just
up the
get me
idea.
more mad. I'm gonna have a stroke as it is with this shitternet. Dude, if you're thinking about changing your provider, do not buy these Linksys nodes. They are fucking dog shit terrible. Verizon is terrible. So if you're thinking about either of them, I advise you to not go in that direction. As I freeze once again on my screen, I cannot see Jack. He's not moving. Now he's moving. So I don't think I actually froze. Because sometimes when I freeze, it just freezes for me, and then Jack sees me throw a fit. So thank you very much to Linksys and Verizon for just being the absolute worst.
Yeah, and
Early
speaking of the absolute worst in your eyes, you're out on the idea of LeBron in Boston, I assume.
Yeah, I'd have to take like a year off. Like, you would have to find somebody else to do these shows with you because I would not want to support the team. I mean, they almost lost me this summer trading Smart away, which felt like a kick in the balls. Just to circle back to the Porzingis thing, even though it's like a good move, and I went into what Chuck had to say and why it makes sense and applies to this year's team, but it still sucks. Like, that's somebody you really rooted for, somebody that really embodied the Celtics. If you bring in LeBron, like, I don't want to root for LeBron. Why the hell would I want to root for LeBron? That's terrible. Absolutely not. No.
Did you see the context behind this? Behind this like Bronny to the Celtics idea?
No. Well,
So
they have a zillion second-round picks?
No, I mean, I asked that because I looked for it, right? I saw this on Twitter. I saw you tweet about it. I'm like, okay, we can talk about that on the pod. It can be something because we need content. And I Googled it, and it wasn't even a thing. This mock draft that was made didn't have Bronny James to the Celtics. It had Bronny James going 24th, and then somebody who writes about the Celtics said, "Oh, the Celtics could pick in that range. Could they pick Bronny James?" And let me read you this real quick.
Well, good for them for being creative.
No, it's there's a point where it's creative, and I'm not going to say the author because I'm going to crap on it. They headlined the piece. Here's why LeBron James will likely retire with the Boston Celtics. That was the headline of the article.
Do we know this person?
No, we don't personally know them. Like, we've never talked to them on the show. But the only connection that was made was this Draft Digest did a mock draft, and it was just had Bronny James going 24th. There were no teams attached. There were no like, okay, this team will probably pick here. It just had him ranked as the 24th prospect on a big board. It wasn't even a mock draft. It was a big board, and had him 24th. And the connection was, oh, the Celtics could pick around 24th. And then they were saying drafting Bronny James could pave the way to signing LeBron James. And then they made the connection and said, oh, this is why he'll likely retire with the Celtics. Like, that's just blatant clickbaiting, right? Like, that's just blatant misinformation.
Oh, it is September. But there has been plenty of, like LeBron's going to go play with his kid or whatever. I'm not really sure his son's going to get drafted. Like, I'm not even sure it's a good mock draft.
No. Bronny James is I've seen him go like higher than 24 in some mock drafts too. Like, he's gonna be good. And the worst part is, I know I wouldn't want LeBron in Boston either because no. But like,
good.
Bronny James probably would be an okay fit with the Celtics. Like,
maybe
he is a defensive-minded playmaking point guard who can shoot the ball pretty well, which sounds like something the Celtics could use. It's just you don't really want to bring the dad to Boston because that probably wouldn't go well.
No, that would be god awful. That would be the worst thing ever. I almost am just curious, like, what the reception would be, and I'd probably be so disappointed because these people would be like, "Oh my god!" Like, you'd get all like the casual people. They'd be like, "Oh my god, they got LeBron!" Like, all like the Patriots people would start going to games. It would actually be like a disaster. It would be our 9/11.
I mean, I'm looking at mock drafts here, and Bronny James is like going in the 20s in most of them. So he's like a first round talent at the very least, and he hasn't played in college yet. You wonder how much of that is because of the dad, like his dad going where he's going. It is what it is, but I can't believe, like I said, sure. Like I said, I went through to like find, what was the connection? Was he drafted to the Celtics? Was he like mocked there? And it was literally just a big board of him going in the mid-20s where the Celtics could pick. And then the title, LeBron James is likely going to retire with the Celtics. That's just, I can't back that. I'm sorry. That's terrible. It's ridiculous. And so I thought that was nuts. All right.
Nice.
What I believe is, well, go ahead. No,
no, I saw you hit enter on the show sheet, assuming you put in a freeze.
No. I'm going to the next timestamp because we're going to move on to our next and final Celtics topic of the day, which is an article written by Andrew Hughes of Hardwood Houdini, which I know Sam writes for, and I've written for before. So shout out to Andrew. Thank you for giving us some content on this September day or night. But he wrote an article detailing some Celtics that could potentially return to the Celtics and some that may not. So the title of the article was 3 potential future Boston Celtics reunions that feel possible and 2 that don't. So basically saying these 3 guys might return to the Celtics or could, and these 2 probably couldn't. And we'll start with the first one he said that could, which is Daniel Tice, which is just, if you're going to talk Celtics reunion, there's nobody that makes more sense than Daniel Tice at this point. I mean, he's already been here, then they brought him back, and if there's anybody
get rid of him,
trade for, that's what I'm saying.
Update: my router has finally turned red, so we could be on the way back.
Good.
It is finally decided it's tuckered out. Okay, it's back to being blue. We might be all the way back. Just like Daniel Tice, he could be all the way back in Boston. The problem is he makes too much money. Like he makes almost $10 million a season, and it would be really hard to pay a guy that would be essentially your 4th string center almost $10 million a season. So that makes it tough for me to believe. I don't know what they would give up in that scenario. I mean, we threw around the idea of them bringing in a $12 million guy, and we were like, how the hell would they even match this? They couldn't.
Well, I mean, he does have this season and then a team option, which I have to imagine the Pacers would decline. So if the Celtics get him at a minimum next year, I'd love that. I mean,
he's down.
That contract was so weird. That was like the Rockets first dipping their pool in. Should we overpay these guys a little bit to bring them on board? And it didn't work, but they still went with that pathway this summer. So whatever for the Rockets. But the first probably not going to happen reunion is Aaron Nesmith, another Pacer, which probably makes sense. I mean, he's probably going to get paid a little bit of money on his next contract. He's looked pretty good with the Pacers, unless it's like way late, like a Joe Johnson return. It just doesn't seem like he's got a career in Boston anymore.
No, I don't think so. I think the restricted free agency makes it very difficult. I don't see any scenario where the Celtics are offloading assets to bring him back. So that kind of nixes the 2 avenues where he could return. So yeah, not happening, but hope he plays well for the Pacers.
Yeah. Like Nesmith. The next one warmed my heart a little bit, saying Grant Williams is a possible reunion. The reasoning, I don't think so either, but the reasoning Andrew said, he's like, at the contract value Grant Williams is at, it wouldn't surprise me if Brad Stevens went out and tried to trade for him or something goes wrong in Dallas down the line, which like, I guess makes sense, right? If you can compile assets to get up to that salary number in the future, maybe it makes sense. I mean, I'd love Grant Williams back in Boston. That'd be my dream, but I don't know if I agree with this one as much. I just don't really see it happening.
See, if they didn't want to just pay him, then why would they want to give up assets to bring him back? Especially when the whole draw of bringing Grant back, in my opinion, was the in case of emergency, if you need him, you have him cap slot. So in this situation, they would not only have not done that, but then they would have to shoot themselves in the foot by giving up actual assets to pay him what they didn't want to pay him.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah, like I said, I don't agree. Next one's going to make Sam mad. Probably unlikely is Isaiah Thomas.
I mean, it feels like it would have happened by now.
Yeah.
I still like you. Well, now you can, because they've made a roster move where there's only 1 spot left. And if you had to go into my head, who would you rather have, Isaiah or Blake? I would take Blake.
Probably
because he was with this group last year. He was great for the locker room. He gave them really good minutes when he was actually given time and responsibility. As for Isaiah, You're really not going to get much from him at this point. I don't think anytime he's out there, he's going to be targeted defensively, especially in a playoff scenario. Not that he would be getting minutes there as the 15th signing here, but when really, who is more important to have on the team, or does it really make a big difference if you sign Isaiah versus Svi Mykhailiuk? Seriously. And don't just disagree for the sake of it. Like,
I think
if they're just hanging out, clapping, and warm-ups, then it doesn't matter.
No, and I listened to front office pod Keith Smith and Trevor Lane, and Keith made the point. He's like, Sam Hauser and Svi Mykhailiuk do similar things, but at the very least, like if Hauser gets cold for a month, you have Svi Mykhailiuk there, so you have another guy who can play the same role. And another point, I think it was Evan Valenti. I was talking to on Celtics, but he's like, as much shooting as you can put around Jayson Tatum. He talked about like how he saw the stat about shot gravity and all the stuff, like opening the floor for Tatum and Brown, having enough guys and a ton of guys who can just stand at the 3-point line and open up the lane. I think that's important. And even if it's just Svi Mykhailiuk playing like 10 minutes when Sam Hauser is out, or this many minutes when this person is hurt, like having a guy who can shoot 40% from behind the 3-point line. I do think if you can have that guy in a minimum deal, you do it. So I do think it's more value to have a guy who can legitimately play than just a guy who's there for basically theatrics.
I love me some theatrics.
I know. I know.
Nobody loves theatrics quite like I do.
And I think the appeal of Blake is that he is the theatrics, but can also play. Like he can actually give you minutes. So.
Yes.
I think that's the important part. But the last one is a possible return, which is Mr. Marcus Smart, which I hope is true. I hope he comes
I hope
back
it's true, but I think he should tell them to screw.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not even trying to rhyme. I just think he should tell them to get lost. Like, I don't know. I still think they did him dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the whole thing. They better win. They better win.
Well, there you go. Sam's go-to. All right, I think that's all we got for Celtics. We can move on to NBA and then get into the rat list after that. We're going to do our every show FIBA World Cup update, and we actually do have an update because they have officially moved on to the knockout stage, so it's not just me getting confused and trying to figure out what's going on with the FIBA World Cup. They are officially on to the knockout stage of the tournament. The United States lost to Lithuania in the last game of the group stage, which was their first and currently only loss of the tournament. But as you're listening to this, or maybe if you're listening to this early in the morning, not as you're listening to this, the U.S. plays Italy in their first knockout stage game at 8:30 on Tuesday. So if you're listening after 8:30, they are probably playing or have played. And the other teams that are in the tournament, Germany is going to play Latvia, Lithuania will play Serbia, and Canada will play Slovenia. So the U.S. will play the winner of Germany and Latvia, and then if they win that, they'll go to the finals against the winner of the other bracket. But these games are interesting, man. I mean, Italy doesn't have any NBA players outside of, I think it's Simone Fontecchio is leading the way, and I think Nico Mannion might be playing too. So they don't have a ton of like current NBA talent on the team. Germany has Franz and Mo Wagner and Daniel Tyson Schroeder, so they're a little bit loaded. And then Latvia doesn't have Porzingis, but they kind of made a run anyways, which is good for them. Lithuania, Serbia is the interesting one. It's like, probably this team is just playing to who's going to lose to Slovenia or Canada. And then Luka versus Canada is going to be very fun to watch. That's probably the best game of the current stage of the tournament. But yeah, I mean, US is on to the final 8, and this is where games will probably be a bit more interesting because it is win or go home now.
Maybe I'll watch. I'll be up tomorrow. Physical therapy early.
There you go.
Can't wait.
Maybe catch the game.
I think Canada's my personal favorite team. Like I would root for to win. I think they have an appropriate mix of good NBA players that you actually know who they are, and then just other guys. Where like Slovenia is just Luka, and also
Goran Dragic. But yeah,
well, great. He's 10 million years old, and Kankar tore his ACL. I don't know. Germany too. Like I like Tice, so I would root for him.
Sure.
2 former Celtics on Germany.
3 former Celtics.
Mo Wagner. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, just not the USA.
Sam out on patriotism.
I actually hate the USA. I could not care less if they win.
There you go. Well, they did lose to Lithuania in their group stage game.
There actually should be a World Cup without the USA.
Just to see who can do it.
Yeah, just to like actually make it fun. Even though the USA is trying their best because they like compile a group of like okay players.
Well, I mean that makes it even more fun if the USA loses, right? That makes it even more fun.
No, it's
Like,
more
remember
fun if
when,
they have like a stacked team and then they shit the bed.
Well, I mean, years ago, Argentina won gold in the Olympics, and that was like
Yeah, that was a
huge
fluke
because,
thing.
well, they did it though. No,
Sure did.
it's in the record books. Some other small storylines with USA. People are laughing at Jaren Jackson Jr. on Twitter because he's had 1 rebound in the last 2 USA games.
Good for him.
And
yeah, no, somebody else can hit the glass. He's probably tired out.
For the context, USA lost to Lithuania in their last group stage game. The rebounding difference was 43-27 and 18-9 on the offensive glass in favor of Lithuania.
If I cared, I'd be so upset.
USA just getting smoked because they're rolling out Josh Hart at the 4, who's a good rebounder, but you need.
Yeah, you tried to get me to take Josh Hart and play him at the 4 in our little draft today.
This is true. And then, yeah, that's all I got. People are asking for Tyrese Halliburton to play more. He shot 2 shots in their loss to Lithuania, so people are not happy with that. But anyways, next NBA thing we have, checking in with the 76ers, who are the star of the show this offseason. Joel Embiid, quote unquote, trusts Daryl Morey. I don't even, this came from Kyle Neubeck, I think. I'm sorry. No, wrong. Paul Hudrick of LibertyBallers.com. A source said Embiid, quote unquote, trusts Morey and managing partner Josh Harris and, quote, feels a loyalty to the organization for the way they supported him during early trials of his career. Now, if I'm Joel Embiid, get me out. Just let me leave. I don't want to. And I understand the concept of, and I know he played ball in the U.S., but like he's from Cameroon, so like international players feeling a loyalty to the team that drafted them. I think it's a sinking ship. I think Maxi's great. I think they can surround Embiid with talent. The Harden situation's tough. If I'm Embiid and I have the chance to get to a team that has a better chance to win a title, I do it. But that's just me being a sadist.
Yeah, see, I think Embiid might be the most connected guy with the city he plays in the NBA. And I think like who else? Like Marcus isn't here anymore.
Well, you can laugh about it, but probably Dame before all this went down. I would say Dame or Giannis.
But he's not anymore.
Sure. Giannis, I think, is the other one.
Okay, Giannis, but he's even threatening to leave. He's like, sign my shitty brothers and then I might stay. Like,
sure.
Joel Embiid seriously seems to be bonded with Philly. The city likes him.
Steph, sorry.
Okay.
I was thinking.
Yeah, but
I was just thinking.
He's like old now. But yes, true. It's true. It's true. Like, but like, I mean, a guy that like you're like teasing the idea that he could leave.
I know what you're saying.
Like there is no doubt for Steph. He's gonna just finish there probably.
Imagine Steph just like, yeah, I don't know, guys.
Well, like Tony Parker played for the Hornets at one time.
It's true. That's true.
But back to Embiid, like I don't feel like he's a guy that's going to just skip town when it gets tough. I mean, he was already there for like the shitty process years, like alluded to in this quote.
Yeah.
I just think the NBA is going to come back to a time where guys are on or a part of franchises for multiple editions of the team.
I agree
like,
with you.
I think over the last couple of years, we've really seen a
shift.
Just blow it up and get rid of everybody without keeping any pieces just to get as many assets as we can. I think it's going to come back to being like, okay, well, we have this guy. So, I mean, Portland's kind of trying to do that and they've failed. Back to your point. But
no, I know what you mean.
I just think Embiid is the next guy to just be there and like they'll still be okay, especially with somebody like Embiid. Like I feel like in today's game, if you have a skilled big guy like him that's strong, he can rebound, he gets the free throw line like crazy, you're always going to be somewhat competitive.
No, I agree. I think this younger generation or this new generation of stars is like that. Like you look at Embiid, I do understand like the concept of him not going anywhere. I don't think Jokic will go anywhere. I don't think Giannis will end up going anywhere. I feel like Luka has a chance to spend his whole career there. Even like the American-born guys, like I know I just mentioned about international players because I made that argument. Like I feel like Ja seems like the type of guy to just
Tatum kind of does regardless. Feel that way too.
Tatum
without a bias to it, like it just is starting to feel like that to me.
I know it's not exactly the same, but like it's not really his fault. Like I feel like Shea probably won't leave Oklahoma City. I know he started in LA, but like he feels like a guy who could just stick it out with them and build with them. Even like Anthony Edwards. Like, I mean, maybe that's our next segue, but I understand the concept of, I feel like it is shifting, but I'm going to use that as a segue that I actually didn't mean to do, but I just forgot what was on the sheet. But Pat Bev thinks the opposite of me. Pat Bev was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast and he will get out of Minnesota. That's just what happens. That's no disrespect to Minnesota. It's just the personality. He could change the world. Thank you for finally changing the background. I've been off, but yeah, Pat Bev was just like,
we're
yeah,
tired as fuck, dude.
That's fine.
We're mad tired.
Pat Bev was just like, yeah, Ant's gonna leave. he's gonna be gone eventually.
Again, not everybody needs a microphone. Pat Bev kind of should have a microphone though. He's fire.
Yeah,
but
he's awesome.
I just don't like stuff like this. Like, why now Anthony Edwards is going to have to deal with people probing him on this.
Yep.
Because Pat Bev went on Gilbert Arenas' podcast on whatever network it is that he's on. Showtime, maybe? Or one of the betting networks?
No idea.
Like, I don't know. Like, who cares, dude? Like, Pat Bev has his own pod with Barstool. Like, cool. Fine. I just don't like the... Imagine if somebody said this with Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
Imagine if a player came out and said he's going to leave. The absolute chaos that would have ensued with us in the media and in the fan base. No thanks. This is just unnecessary crap. Like,
yeah.
I don't even think, Ant just signed an extension.
He did, yeah.
This is like the last time to ever be like, he's not going to play there anymore.
He also said that personality, he could change the world, which is just like, Pat, my man.
I wonder who else he could have said that about.
This is like Cat changed the game.
It's true. They do a lot of changing in Minnesota.
I mean, I understand it from Pat Bev. It is funny, though. Pat Bev played with Ant in Minnesota, and there's like, yeah, he's going to leave.
That's what I mean. Like, this is just like, I don't know. I'd be pissed if I'm Anthony Edwards. Even if he does want to leave, like, you don't need this. This is a distraction. Minnesota realistically could be somewhat competitive in the West. They're set up to be that way. Anthony Edwards, by all accounts, is ready to take a big jump. Karl Anthony Towns has been hanging around the superstar level for years. And Gobert is a joke, but like at the same time, he's been defensive player of the year before. Like, if all goes right for Minnesota, they could be, I don't know, what, 5th, 6th in the West? Like, if they have a good season, if Anthony Edwards
good role
plays
players
really
too.
well.
They have good role players. Jaden McDaniels is good. He looks like he could be a star, at least on the defensive end. Mike Conley's there. Kyle Anderson's there. Like, they've got a decent team. Mike Conley's good. They've got a good team.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is just unfair to Anthony Edwards, and it's unfair to the Timberwolves. It's just not fair.
I will say, though, not defending Pat Bev's statement, but the Timberwolves do have probably the worst track record in the NBA when it comes to keeping stars.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Probably what happens there.
All right. Let's bump my last thing. We can talk about it on the next pod, and we're going to Sam's Reddit post of the day. Do we not have a Reddit post?
No, I have it, but I just forgot it was on the sheet.
That's fine. What
all
do you got
right.
for the Reddit post today?
So, Reddit post of the day. Didn't put the user's name because I was too tired.
That's fine. Fuck 'em.
Who is the best mercenary player in the league, or mercenary players in the league? Everyone knows who the franchise cornerstones are and their loyal supporting cast. But there are consistently positive players who move from team to team and never quite find a home. Which ones are at the top? Not just because they ball out as tank commanders during a sub-500 season, but because they actually contribute to winning basketball. They help push their squads over that hump, whether it be as a leader or a crucial depth piece. Their signing indicates a contending season. Anybody off the top of your head?
That's a great question. It feels like I wanted to say KCP because he was on that Lakers team and he was on the what's I was say the Nuggets. Danny Green, Danny Green's a good one. Yeah, Danny Green's probably the best one because he went Spurs and then he won a title in Toronto, then he won a title in LA, and then he was pretty good on those Sixers teams. That's probably the top one for me off the top of my head. Do you have any ideas?
Another good comment was Pat Bev. Bev has bounced around. He joined Philly this year.
JJ Redick.
That person also said the OG was Robert Horry. Dude would pop up everywhere, nail some big time shots, and then win a ring. That's another good choice. I'm trying to think of Celtics related guys that could really fit here.
That's a tough one. I think JJ Redick, maybe. I'm
PJ
trying to
Tucker,
I'm trying to think of like the best metric I could
Rondo,
look up to. What's the best
Jeff
metric I could
Green.
Google to like find players like this? Like what would I even search to find this? That's like what I'm
I
trying to
don't
look for
know.
right now, but I don't even know.
Somebody put Jay Crowder as a perfect example of this. So as soon as I asked for like Celtic love, I scrolled and then saw everybody
Yeah.
putting old Celtic players on this.
I would say
Seth
Iguodala,
Curry.
but Seth Curry, sure.
I
I
want
guess.
Iguodala.
There you go. I'm trying to think of like title teams going back and thinking who just like popped up on title teams and won. But I mean, the last like few decades, there have only been a few teams that won a title individually outside of dynasties, right? Like the Warriors won multiple, the Spurs won multiple, the Heat won multiple. If you go to recent years, like PJ Tucker's a good one because he won with the Bucks. Danny Green was a good one because he won with multiple of these teams in between dynasties. The Nuggets won this year. That's why I said KCP and Jeff Green would make sense. Warriors, no. Bucks,
JaVale. Didn't
PJ
JaVale
Tucker,
win with it? He won with Golden State and then the Lakers.
and Lakers. Yeah, that's a not bad one. On that Raptors team, it was just Danny Green. Like you could probably go back and find a quote unquote mercenary on every title team. Like
PJ
what
Tucker
about
was
that?
on that Raptors team. That was after his time, right?
Yeah, I meant Danny Green. Sorry if I
You said no. You said Danny Green, but I made me think.
Oh no. I don't think no, PJ Tucker wasn't on that team. Who was on that Dallas team? That was just the last
Steve
one.
Kerr's a
like,
guy.
maybe.
He won like
Yeah.
4 titles in a row, and then he
Mhm.
got a 5th one with the Spurs. His second with the Spurs, but it was his 5th total.
Corey Brewer won a title in Dallas. I had no idea
What?
Corey Brewer won a ring. Yeah, Corey Brewer won a ring.
He must have been a rookie.
He was in his 4th season.
Oh my gosh.
In Dallas.
I didn't even know he played for Dallas.
He got traded to Dallas halfway through the season, played 13 games with them, played in 6 playoff games, won a ring, and never played for Dallas again.
Good for him.
That's incredible. Good for Corey Brewer. I mean, Corey Brewer, mercenary. He made the playoffs a lot. That's a lie. No, he didn't. But I feel like the best place for mercenaries were those James Harden Rockets teams. They were just compiling like, okay, let's get all these vets. Right? I mean, PJ
Please
Tucker,
come
Jeff
stand
Green,
in the corner.
Trevor Ariza. Want to go back to it? Trevor Ariza could be an okay one. He won one ring, right? He won with the Lakers, and that's it. But he was on a bunch of good teams, right? Like he was on. I wonder. A good question would be who has made the playoffs with the most different teams. And I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but I feel like that'd be a good question. Like Trevor Ariza made the playoffs with 6 different franchises in his career. So like that's probably up there. Rondo made the playoffs with
Celtics, Dallas,
6.
Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Player
That's fun. Vince Carter
has
maybe
made playoffs with most different. I'm Googling teams. Vince Carter has made the playoffs with. Let's take a look here. Sorry, this is just like the best metric I was thinking of to
New Jersey,
just 5.
Orlando,
for Vince Carter.
Just 5.
5 for Vince. Patrick Beverley is probably one. He made just 3 actually. I guess he was in the same teams. JJ Redick made the playoffs like every year of his career up until a certain point. He's made it, but only 4 franchises. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably just like I bet a bunch of those Jeff Green teams made the playoffs. Like just the guys who played for the most teams probably.
I mean, Jeff Green, Celtics from the playoffs when he was
8. 8.
Yeah.
And then Ish Smith has made the playoffs with 6. Actually, that's kind of bad for Ish Smith. Only 6 of his squads made the playoffs.
Teams.
Yeah. All right. Good question. Danny Green's probably the best answer, but good question. Let us know if you have any in the comments, and we will move on to the rat list now. I know Sam's had a long day, so I'm just gonna let you have the floor here for a moment. I'll put Matt there on the screen. I'll let you talk.
Okay. Well, you may say, Sam, why are you here at midnight recording the rat list on a Monday?
Yeah.
To which I would reply to you, well, another Thai restaurant has wronged me.
This was a different one?
This is a different Thai restaurant. So my girlfriend and I went to Block Island today, and on the way back, driving up through South County, we stopped at a Thai place, actually at URI, oddly enough.
There you go.
So we go in there. We had gotten off the ferry around 7. Put in the order. Get there around 7:25-ish, right?
Sure.
We didn't leave until probably like 9 p.m. We didn't get our food till like 8:40. We were just sitting in there. I did my fantasy football draft from the restaurant.
Yes, we did do it. I'm in the league. Yeah, we can talk about that in a
So
second. Yeah.
that was just absolutely exhausting. It was an exhausting day. I was out in the sun. I was up early. I was driving. I was all around walking, just hot. Like, I mean, it was a fine day. We can talk about Block Island a bit, I guess. But just the cherry on top, the Wi-Fi,
Yep.
but the wait at this time. I mean, I would love to know what order set them back so far, because it was not just me. Like, there was a big line. This one guy was mad as hell. He was like, he just kept like asking them. He's like, "Is it ready?" Like, just lurking around the counter, making us
Those are the
all
worst.
uncomfortable. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm too tired to really like put together a coherent story. But yeah, we waited far too long.
Yeah, you were not not a happy camper in the fantasy football draft. Not a ratless, but Sam and I are in a fantasy football league. And how did your team turn out? I'm curious. I didn't
I
even
don't
look at your
know.
team. I
I
just
honestly,
ended
I
up.
literally could not tell you, Jack. I don't know anything about football.
I ended up
I'll
with.
tell you in 5 weeks.
That's fine. I got Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews because I decided to be an asshole and just take 2 tight ends in the first 4 rounds. I'm trying to think of ratless I have today. I once again got I'm just gonna show you a little, screen here at Starbucks. Please let me know if you would like to leave a tip here. So that was fun. But I keep going
Tipping
back
needs
because
to
the
end.
food's good. Yeah, it's not fun. Outside of that though, not too much
Okay.
to complain about. So I'll
Ratless
let you
Henry.
keep
Henry
going.
took
Yeah.
his sweet fucking time every time he made a pick in his fantasy football draft.
Yeah,
He
you'll get
must have
used to it.
took the entire minute and a half at least 6 times.
I told him to speed it up a couple times, then I gave up because I just didn't want to. He was sitting next to me doing it, but it's just
The
what
fuck
am
was
I
he
gonna do?
doing?
He just likes to take his time, man.
Just
I don't know what to
calling
tell you.
his fucking other executives on his team?
He takes his time, man. He's that's all I got. Andrew just likes to take his time drafting his fantasy teams. He takes the full minute 30 that he's allotted. So that's yeah. You got to have more rattles today.
I'm just
text
trying to
me
think
all
of where
day.
I went. I didn't write him down.
Mhm.
We'll go ratless the sun, dude. The sun was brutal today. Listen, I'm not sunburnt, and I'm outside enough where I kind of am like I'm
Yeah.
exposed enough where I'm not going to get brutally burned from one day. And I wore sunscreen. Don't worry about it. But it was just beating down on me all day. Also, Block Island kind of overrated. You ever gone?
I've never been to Block Island, no.
So it's kind of cool. Like I had a good time. Like, it was cool to go to another part of my state that I'd never been to. I like to go all over Rhode Island, like, especially this time of year. It's fun to explore. So we take the ferry, get there. I think Newport's better. It's like we did not go throughout the whole island. Like we didn't really have time. Didn't want to ride the bikes. I did not want to fall off the bike and hurt myself. I didn't need that. All I need is to get hurt again.
Are there bikes? What bikes? What
You
is
can rent bikes, like bicycles
on Block Island? Just like
yeah,
gotcha,
to like
gotcha,
ride
gotcha.
around.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd love to stay there and do a run. That'd be fun. Go run around. That's the best time to run is when you're on vacation. You just like go out and it's like you're sightseeing, so you don't get tired. But it was just like ice cream shops, like souvenir shops. The beach was nice. We went to this Ballard's where last year there was a brawl. Did you hear about the brawl last year?
No.
It dominated the news cycle for like 2 weeks. It was like the last major arc of my news career.
I had no idea.
So essentially, Ballard's is like a restaurant on Block Island, but they also have like on their property is beach. So like
Sure.
you go in there, you don't have to pay to use their beach or anything, which is kind of cool. But these dudes like got into a brawl at Ballard's, and then the same day, so you have to take a ferry, obviously, because it's an island, mad far away from the coast.
Yeah.
Brawl on the ferry. So this was just like a day of brawls.
The
on
same
Block
guys?
Island. I don't know if it was the same people or not, but it
Damn.
was just like a series of events where people were fired up for whatever reason. Imagine taking a ferry and then you get to the mainland again, and then just all of the cops are there. Like that's what happened to these dudes. But Ballard's was fine. Overpriced food because you're on an island. You just get railed. Terrible. Yeah. But it was fine. I enjoyed the beach, oddly enough. I still can't get over the sand. They need to have some kind of solution for the sand. Because you can't get it off your feet. They had a little foot-like thing, a foot sprinkler. I still couldn't get it off.
Yeah, out on the beach. I don't think there's a way you can spin the beach for it to be like a positive experience. For me.
Well, I'll
It's
say
just
that sand,
bad.
very clean. The sand there was very clean. There wasn't shells. There wasn't rocks. It was very smooth. The waves were fun,
Sure.
right? I was getting thrown around by the waves like I was a little kid. It was fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah,
Dude,
I mean, sure, but
I got dragged back by one of the waves. I had like a pocket full of sand.
yeah, it's terrible.
No, like it was like literally in my pocket.
No, I
Like
know what you mean. It's bad. Yeah.
it was like a
I'm
big
aware.
bag.
I mean, seaweed's still the worst for me. We had a guy comment on our
There
video
was
when
no
I rat-listed seaweed.
There was no seaweed. It was
phenomenal.
the cleanest. Like honestly,
amazing.
power rankings, beach, maybe Block Island #1.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's great. The seaweed's the worst thing for me. We had a guy comment on our on our podcast when I rat-listed seaweed saying like seaweed contributes to 80% of the world's oxygen, which, hey, thank you, seaweed. Stay away from me.
Okay, you want a rat list that's gonna like piss people off is paper
Sure.
straws. Paper straws
agree.
have a great purpose.
I had a paper straw today. Terrible. Paper straws are terrible. I'm sorry. Can't do it. People just gonna get
Also,
pissed
you
about
know what else rat list? Paper bag. So
yes.
as like a society, we have all of a sudden ditched the plastic bag, probably for good reason.
Yeah.
But I really kind of hate how everything's a paper bag now. You go to Stop and Shop, it's all paper bags. They don't have a system yet where like with the plastic bags, they had them all on the rack. You just like open it, put the stuff in. When you're done, you take it off, put it away. And the next one's waiting for you. The paper ones, they just have them all folded. It's like you do it.
You know, it's bad. And the worst ones are the paper bags with no handles. Like some paper bags have handles for you to like use.
I haven't seen one with the handles in a while. Like I'm aware they exist.
No.
Mind you, the ones with handles are shit because
They're
they're just weak.
Mm-hmm. Because they're just stapled on. Like it's not actually secure. It's just stapled onto the bag.
The best bag of all time is the paper bag, but you put the plastic on the outside. So you get the strength of the paper bag, but you also get the durability of the plastic handle.
Yeah. Best bags are Target bags. Target bags are good. I like Target bags.
What other things are bad for the environment that we can be like, we love that?
maybe this isn't the path that we go down today. Maybe we cut it. Maybe we stop. Maybe
we cut it.
Not cut it from the show. Maybe we cut out the talk. Actually, when's the last time you've been to Starbucks? Like recently, or you've been a minute?
I went to Starbucks. Well, I technically went to Starbucks yesterday because I went to Target.
Sure. Starbucks straws are worse than paper straws. Starbucks straws, they try to make this balance. Yes, they try to make this balance of, okay, it's a little plastic, but it's also paper. And the texture of the straw is like grating nails on a chalkboard on my teeth. It is truly the worst straw out there. And on the way back, we went to Ball last night. I know you didn't go. I stopped at KFC on the way back. It was fine. It was normal. I'll rattle
Henry.
Henry.
Tell you last time I had KFC.
Well, I hadn't had food yet. Like I hadn't eaten that day yesterday, and I was like, I'm hungry. I need to eat something, and I went to McDonald's. But the McDonald's down there in Johnson is maybe the busiest fucking place I've ever seen in my life.
It was
horrible.
busy. It was busy.
It's always busy. So I went to KFC instead. It was fine, but KFC gave us paper straws, and so rat list. But
did Henry go?
Henry was there. Yeah.
Oh,
Starbucks is worse. Because it's like a mix and it's terrible. I will rat list Henry again though. Henry can be double rat list today.
Henry's kind of a rat. He's all around.
Henry, we were warming up for basketball, and Henry is the type of guy who will chase every single one of his rebounds during warmups. Every rebound. Every
this is
rebound.
An excellent rat list.
Oh my God, Henry, let me fucking warm up. I'm not going to race you across the court for your rebound. Stop. let me get the ball.
Rat list.
Thank
that
you.
might be the best ever rat list because if you don't know, and you probably do because this is a basketball podcast, but when you're warming up for basketball and you only have one ball, it's make it, take it. You make the shot, you get the ball back. You miss, whoever gets the rebound, it's their shot, and then you get a layup. This is an important thing that you should not fuck with because it's how everybody warms up. And there are so many ways to go about this. So one of them is the way that Henry goes about this, but another way are the people that don't know about like the layup part. Like they just take the ball and then they go start shooting, but you don't get your layup. So that's the worst. But Henry just vigorously chasing after rebounds so Jack can't warm up in my head is a hilarious picture. When he missed, you should have just said something funny so he laughed and then just lost all control of his muscles.
Well, I'm not like
he just collapsed.
Everyone else was warming up the
on
other
the
side, so I
floor.
didn't make a huge deal of it. I was like, whatever, I'll just fucking get the ball when I get it. But like all of his misses too were short, so he'd just be getting every single one. And then when it went to the other side of the court, he would like sprint, and so I didn't get the ball. I just didn't get to
That
play.
is a fantastic rat list.
Henry
It
also
really
is the type of guy which you respect it because when it's on your team, it's good. But Henry will kill you for every rebound. He will not let you get in the box for in the paint for a rebound. He will physically muscle you out. And after like 6 games of stuff, Henry's still doing that. I'm like, you know what, Henry, take the rebound. I'm tired. I don't give a fuck anymore. It's yours, buddy. Like, and so yeah, I need to teach him some more etiquette. Well, we'll roast him maybe next time. The issue was pissing me off though. I'm sitting there. I hadn't shot in like maybe 3 minutes of shooting. I'm just like, dude. Can I please have the ball?
You know who else is the worst? Is the worst person to warm up with is Joe, because Joe, nobody takes longer to get a shot off like when they're warming up than Joe.
Yeah,
he'll I don't know what it is. He's just so fucking slow, and it infuriates me. He'll like do like dribbles and stuff, but like it's not like stuff he would do in a game. It's like just catch and shoot.
Oh, he loves the tween step back Harden. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, but like you're warming up and you never do that.
No, Joe will never pull that out in a game.
No,
I did pull that out in the game the other day. We were smoking them, so it was like I was on a team with I can name drop it. It was Jaron and Raul, right? So they were just running up and down the court, scoring every basket, right? I didn't touch the ball in offense. I played like I told him I was like automatic quarterback in flag football, but on defense I just stayed back and played defense.
Yes.
But by the end of the game they're like, "Yo, go shoot some threes, go make a 3." And so I was just going up. There was like a minute and a half left in this game. We were only up by 6, right? But I just ran up the court and just did step back, tween. It was just chucking threes. I missed every single fucking one. But we still won the game. It was fine. I couldn't shoot for shit yesterday, though. It was bad. I couldn't make anything again. Maybe because I didn't get to fucking warm up.
Yeah, maybe not.
Oh, this guy. Fucking Henry, man.
All right. Wrap it up.
That's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got for Rat List. Thank you. I'm surprised we went that long for Rat List. Thank you all for tuning in to the show. I'll put How About Them Celtics back on the screen so you guys can subscribe. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Help us out. We're almost at 1,250. I believe we're like 6 away right now. We're at 1,244 right now. So
Sunday's pod did well too. So thank you for that.
It did. As much as I like it when the smaller videos do well, and it's disappointing when they don't.
Less of a shit about the smaller, except for the ones that I like contribute to, where I'm like, oh, I like this idea, and then 2 people watch it, and I'm like, wow, I'll go die.
No, I thank you for listening to the full length pods. Those are what I care about the most. And I know Sam's the same way. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check us out on Apple and Spotify. Leave us 5 stars. Actually, that helps us out a lot if you leave us a review and 5 stars, stuff like that. Help promote us in the algorithm that way. So during the season, we will be up there with the big boys, which is where we're aiming to be. And leave us a comment on YouTube. Those are my favorite things. Thanks to guys like RJ and Joey Spatulas, Joey Spatulas on Playback. If you haven't, I know you're going to plug it too, but go check out us on Playback. We'll watch some games as well. But I will let Sam wrap us up so he can go to sleep.
Thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, you're on the YouTube, whether that is ours, CLNS's, or CLNS's other one. Subscribe. If you're on ours, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of those other uploads that aren't the pods, because those go to our channel exclusively. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple, like Jack said. 5-star reviews there. Be nice. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Facebook page is just the name of the podcast. You can find Jack at Jack Simone NBA. You can find me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Smart down, and it's called for another foul.